Hello, everybody. Welcome to, I guess, a version of Le Gaming Duo. You'll probably first see this on Le Gaming Duo's channel.
Yes, and of course on the Dice Matrix.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a top 50 game list, best games ever, or at least in my opinion, with some caveats. But the thing is, I wanted to do the top 10 with somebody so you can enjoy this. And Pierre is one of my good friends through the ages. And so we wanted to just do this together because it's more interesting to have two people do the game. So, and you'll see me look here and here because I got a couple of cameras. So I don't think it'll matter. They'll both catch us either way.
So many cameras too.
Yeah, I mean,
superstar. Man.
Well, they cover our size. They have.
Yeah, that's it.
They need a couple of cameras.
You have to have wide angles. Spend a lot of money. That's just the way it is.
So when I told you we're just like I just kind of worded like, oh, these your top 10 either favorite best games or whatever.
Yes.
I didn't put any type of thing. We didn't really talk about it. But I'm going to give you a little caveat on how I made my list, kind of. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. You can tell me how you made your list.
Yeah.
But on my list, I basically I'm starting off. I'm actually going to give two honorable mentions, and the reason is. The first honorable mention is Magic the Gathering. It didn't make my list, but I think the game is still innovative, beautiful, whatever. It's not even in my top 50, but I refuse to put it on my list only because, I've played it for so many years, and it kind of leads you down what I call the magic hole, where you start spending so much money, you can't keep up, and the formats and the tournaments. Yeah. But I do respect the game, so, technically, if I had to, it would go on the list somewhere, maybe not in the top 10, but I always have high praise for it. The second thing I would say is actually Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't put that on my list only because I feel like I could do a role-playing list all by itself, all the role-playing games I played, but I have to give it honorable mention because those are two of my things that have consumed a lot of my time, which I absolutely love. Now, they're not forbidden to put any of those on your list either. I just left those kind of off my list.
Yeah, so. See, the way I did my list, and that was actually tougher than I thought it would because having games since, I don't know, the late 70s, I try to pick games that actually influenced me as a gamer. Not necessarily games I still play, but games that actually left their mark in what I like in the way I game. So it can be new games, can be old games, can be games I actually don't play anymore. But speaking of the honorable mention, there are two games that didn't make my list and I wanted to mention because they were influential. However, I couldn't.
So this is like your honorable mentions.
Yeah,
honorable mentions.
Yeah, my honorable mention. The first one is Squad Leader. I haven't played it in a long time, 20 plus years, but I used to play it a lot. I think it is a fantastic game. I also think that if you play Squad Leader, you play Squad Leader, and that's all you do because the amount of rules you have to actually understand to play this game is insane. It comes with a three-ring binder. Don't forget that, okay? And the three-ring binder is full by the time you buy all the expansions. So Squad Leader is one. And if anybody of you have played the large map for Stalingrad, that you can play 2-3 months on one map and not finish your game, okay? So that's the same. So Squad Leader is one. The second one is actually, it came back to being republished lately by Steve Jackson. It is Into the Labyrinth, which is Melee and Wizard. Those games were really...
I didn't know they did a reprint on that.
Oh, there is a reprint. Okay. There is a collector box for $300, which I'm trying not to buy. But they have reprinted.
That's a whole different video.
It's a whole different video. This is a big box. It weighs like 20 pounds. There's all kind of crap in it. It's a fun game, and for a while it was the hot stuff because I could take it in my pocket and going to the university, going to high school, I could actually put it in my pocket and during lunch take it out and play. So that was awesome, and I think it's a very, very, very good game. So those are the two honorable mentions for me.
I got you. No, that's good. All right, so I figure if you want to, I brought a D20. And I figure each time we could just see who goes first on that category, cool. Just for fun since we're playing games. Also, I got my notes. I see you got your notes. I'm trying not to peek at yours, but I made a special little thing here with a little bad treasure chest that I drew on here. It says PP. These are some guesses about 6 games. I'm probably got none of them right, but I call them Pierre picks. And if you say a game that I happen to think that was in your top 10 list, I'm going to pull it out.
Dude, that's I already lost because in my mind you were going to put Magic way up there. So the fact that you already killed Magic,
well, no, Magic would probably always be in the top 10. just like Dungeons and Dragons, but I just feel like it's a whole different type of listing, and you'll see some reasons on my list that I made why, like Magic the Gathering is. Well, I'll explain it when I get to certain games or whatever. So, but anyway, let's roll this and see who goes
for number 10.
Yeah, so I guess
17. Wow, this is
so,
hot stuff.
Okay,
you go.
So I get to say the number 10s first. Okay, coming in at my number 10 is Twilight Struggle. I don't know if you've heard of this game. It's by GMT Games.
Yes.
One person plays simulates the Cold War. Yes. We need to play it. My buddy Brian got it, and I finally got to play it after all this time, and it did not disappoint.
Great game.
Hype.
Great game.
Yeah.
And it teaches you history too.
Yeah, and the game plays. You get a handful of cards, basically. Yes. You can do space races, but every card you have to make a choice. Like you might have, let's say you're playing the Soviet Union, but you might have a lot of USA cards in your hand. So if you play the card for points, then I get to trigger the event. Yes. And you don't really want to trigger the event because that's just giving me a freebie.
Yes. No. That is a very good game. I absolutely love this game, yes.
Yeah, and I don't see it dropping down, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It's just, and I've lost every time I played it. One time because I have made nuclear war happen.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think that, there are games I love and I keep on losing at them. But it's fine because it's about the experience. I'm not a competitive player, so it doesn't matter to me. Yeah. Some people say, I want to win, otherwise it's so fun. Well, winning is good, but it's not everything. Right. So great choice, man. Great choice.
Well, thank you. I'm going to get that Pierre approved. I'm going to get a check mark.
That is a super classic.
There's only going to be at least one more check mark, I know. Other than that, I don't know if I'll get any more check marks. So I'm going to get a Pierre check mark.
This is you'll make it to my top 10 because
we're going to have one crossover, by the way.
I have too many of them. I know which one.
You know which one is coming.
Be.
We'll just see where it comes up for each one of us.
So number 10. Number 10 is a game that nobody has heard about. Because you guys who are watching it are probably younger than I. It's called Starfire.
I am not familiar with this.
Starfire was a game, and I don't remember what the initial publisher was. Now it's published by Starfire Game. There is a third edition.
RPG?
No, it is okay. Starfire started with a war game. I don't know if you had those games when you were actually Melee and Wizard started with a Ziploc bag. You had a little Ziploc bag.
Yeah, you had to buy the bags back in the day.
And you had a roll inside with some like cutout counters and stuff. Mm-hmm. Starfire is starting like this. Starfire is a game of starship combat. Now, people panic, and I know that on BGG it's only 7.6 or 6.7. Out of 10.
It's above a 6. I think that's
the thing is, it's not 3D, so the shape don't go up and down. They are on a flat surface. It is a hexagon game. It's not beautiful looking, but this game you could build your own starship. You could actually design your starship with the systems you wanted. Let them fly, and when you attack another ship, depending upon your weapon system, you destroy so and so. You can also put out fighters. You can put anything from a fighter level squadron to a super fortress. And then Starfire evolved into Starfire Empire, which is basically a 4E game that can be played with a game master.
Oh,
so you can.
So is the other one's considered skirmish? It's more of a skirmishy kind of game?
The first one is a war game. You have some things that you actually are actually
you can play with multiple opponents or just one.
Yes, you can play. The original one you only had 2 sets of starship.
Okay.
Now with Starfire Empire, it has evolved to a 4E game. You can play with a game master. You should play with a game master.
Is Starfire in the list?
And you have different levels. You have the galactic level, you have the system level, you have you have the tactical level, and you have technology trees. This thing is absolutely awesome. I mean, you can play Starfire for years on and never finish the game, and it's epic. This is really epic. I mean, it makes Twilight Imperium look.
I never played it, but it sounds like a game I would definitely play.
It is, yeah.
Good pick on that. I mean, because I like skirmish games. All right, let's see who does a number 9. I got 15.
15? You got your high rolls, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm the DM. So
7. Okay,
all right,
you go first.
So now this game I don't think you've played.
It's time to drink wine.
But this game by Portal Games that was released. It's called Cry Havoc, and Cry Havoc has like. Not has like kind of subclass below CMON miniature level, but there are miniatures in the game, and you're all vying over this planet, these different factions. You can be the machines. You can be in a 4-player game. You can be the Trogs. If not, the Trogs are the enemy.
Yes.
They come. They how they move and how you have to battle them. But everything's basically done with cards, and it's area control, and you're fighting over these precious gems, and you only have so many rounds to get it done. And it is just a really nice area control combat game that's not like I mean it's different. A lot of times people think combat games are always like dice chucking or whatever, but it's not. It's definitely
I've heard
heavy.
great things about it.
It is super, but yeah, my number 9, Cry Havoc, just beautiful sci-fi game. And it does make you make choices because all the factions play differently. Like the machines are out there and they put out their structures. They just slaughter the other races, and
Yes.
and the humans, I call them like the Rangers because they take over areas really quickly. So when you score points, they score points really quickly. And I forgot their name. I'm blanking out. But it's like the aliens. They have 4 arms.
Yeah, 4 arms. Yes.
And they're kind of like I call them the Euros because they hoard. Basically, they can combat, but that's not their strength. They're about hoarding the gems and trying to control smaller areas and use their gems to score points. And
I've heard good things. And there is an expansion for it, right?
Yeah, I actually picked it up Aftermath. I haven't played with the expansion yet, but we'll get to that. But anyway, that was my number 9, Cry Havoc.
I look forward to you and I playing that game.
Yeah.
Even if it's not painted.
Right.
I'll try to.
Well, I'm hoping to win the lottery, and then I'll just pay you to paint mine. So.
I don't. I'm not good enough to take money for painting. Not at all. So my number 9 is he's probably not going to surprise anybody. This is a game that actually taught me English when I was the original taught me English. This one I already knew English.
Okay.
It's AD&D.
Oh wow! Wait a second.
So I
might
learned
be in the archives. I don't know.
I learned Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, right here.
He got it.
That's all.
So this is how I learned English with D&D, and I continue learning English with AD&D. I was young then. So why is this game? Well, of course I don't play it anymore. Of course, and I'm going back to some systems.
Soon I'm going to run something, and you will play.
Well, I mean, I just bought a game that I so far I really love reading. It's called Amazing Swordsman and Sorcerer from Hyperborea.
Oh, okay.
And it is open license AD&D, basically. With some tweaks. It's a bit more, But this game really launched my entire love of role-playing game forever.
That was my second foray, and I played Star Frontiers was the first thing
Star Frontier
was
really cool. I wish it would have continued it.
And I just didn't have anybody really to play with at the time. I didn't really understand the concepts, and a couple of years later I had some and that was my I played like Hero Quest and all these other games that really inspired me. I love that game. But it just when D&D came out and you're like, it's open what do you want to do? You do what you want to do. You sit around a table with a group of people and you have conversations and
that is
and
awesome.
Roll dice.
Actually, I learned to play D&D from the original game called Chainmail.
That's Tarver approved.
Yes. Yes, it is. It is actually. The original rule was called Chainmail. This is how I first got contact with D&D. But AD&D was it. I mean, I have Monster Manual and everything. The
classic. The books were this. They were tiny.
Yes, opposed to being
you buy 270-page manual nowadays. But actually, they're not too bad. Like the 5th edition's not bad. It's actually, but it's the sheets are so thin. I guess it makes it seem like it's thinner. But it's probably about 10 times bigger than the original. Now that I think about it,
it's pretty big. Yeah. So that was my 9.
Yeah, I love the good choice. All right, let's see who does number 8. I'm gonna let you roll first. Maybe you'll get the big number this time. Let's see. Can you hit still 6? No, can I roll a 6?
We could probably do
2.
Whoa! Oh. What's going on?
I can't get. It's stuck in the scabbard,
man.
The frost. Sometimes it makes the blade stick.
Yes.
What movie that came from? Trivia question.
It was from the Nix Warrior.
Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Yeah. It might have been from a couple, but
that's what I remember. I thought the one with Antonio Banderas when he goes.
The 13th Warrior.
13th Warrior.
Well, I do remember. I don't know if it was in that, but I do know that it was in.
Cool.
You don't need that. Trivia question. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, sir.
So my number 8 is the game. Once again, nobody has. Oh, by the way, I remember who made Starfire. It was called Task Force Games.
Oh wow!
So nice. Here you go. Now my number 8, nobody has heard about it except if you are coming from France, and in which case you have heard about it. It's called Super Gang.
I don't know that one.
So Super Gang is a very, very immoral game. That's probably why I love it. It's a game in which you control 3 gang members. There is a prostitute, a killer, and a drug dealer. And basically, your job is to take over a city by taking over stores and through racketeering. Or through distributing drugs on the sidewalk.
It sounds pretty good, actually.
The game is really fun.
Yeah.
But what it actually put it, I mean, to me, make it as a really milestone game is that when you fight opponents, when you fight cops, when you fight store owners, because they can fight back, you actually shoot at a target far away from you with a dart gun.
When do you think this came out?
Oh, this came out in the 1990s.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. No, that's.
And so maybe 1980s. I don't remember.
No, that's still.
But,
I didn't know.
Super
Like,
Game was made by a company called Ludo Delir. I don't know if they're still out, but you shoot your opponent target with a dart gun, and if they fall face up, they are wounded. If they fall face down, they're dead. And if one of your opponents is wounded, they go to the hospital, and you can send your killer to finish him off in the hospital. That is a very, very immoral game.
as you should.
As you should. It's a very fun game.
I like that
It's
idea.
pretty quick.
I would play that.
And
I would play that game.
yes,
I would play
actually, we should do that. But only
Yeah.
for
Do you have a copy of that somewhere?
Of course, right here for International Board Game.
That's
Day.
what he always says. I always say something. He's like, "Of course I have that
It's right
game."
here.
Yeah.
It's up there, and I still have the original gun.
That's a good question. How many do you actually own? All your top 10?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
definitely more
I
than
don't-
one version of it.
Okay. I'll go. I will say I do not own one of my games, and I've already said it. And it's Twilight Struggle because my buddy Brian has it, and I'll be able to play it. And you own it, right? So I mean,
yeah.
I'll always have a way to play. But that's the only one I don't own. That's in my top 10.
Right.
Okay, so that was number
8.
8.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's my turn for number 8. I'm not
Your
used to
turn.
going second. But now I am.
See,
Okay, now this is a game by, I believe it's Z-Man Games. It's called Hit Z Road, okay?
I have seen your review on that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's, okay, here's the thing. It doesn't have glorious miniatures or whatever. But the idea is a zombie apocalypse hits. And the box looks real unassuming. It's got this kind of 1950s Americana. I forgot who did all the artwork back then, but it kind of looks like that guy,
Yes.
that did all that stuff. But basically, you're playing this game, and the components, the way that they make the components look is as if a child had built this game on his journey with his family through the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
So you have a
Because,
number of
you know-
survivors, and all it is a bunch of cards, and you use an auction bidding system with the 3 resources between bullets, gasoline, and
Yes.
adrenaline to try to make your way safely through and score points. But I feel like, okay, this is one that I keep on here because it's just purely fun, and I wish it played more players, but I've never seen a game of this go badly. Because even if you lose, it's like you had a good time. Because you still want to see if the other people live. So you sit around the table,
and
and
from your review, it looks really, really fun.
I
fun.
did. I actually did a solo play of it as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you get a chance, that's
that is a good review.
But-
and I think that this is a game that I really wanted to try after I saw you play it.
yeah, and it's just
Because
like the cards look like they're cards they just picked up from anywhere.
Yes,
and
yes.
and they make them look filthy on the back, and so
Yes.
like the kid had just kind of assembled the game during the.
That is very
So
cool.
it is more thematic. If you look at the box, you'd say I would not buy this game. It looks stupid. But
Yeah.
if you actually play it. And then, of course,
Yes.
as most games in the right spirit, it's you use 6-sided dice, and it has targeting systems for like either punching or for shooting.
Yes.
And then you lose casualties, and if you lose all your survivors, you're dead.
Yeah,
And the more survivors you
it-
lose, the less dice you roll. So that's not too good. But I've seen a person win with just one before. Not just survive, but just win the game. So
Wow.
yeah, it happens. It happens. So
That sounds like when we first played Zombicide, my wife won the game, and she
Oh, did
only,
she? Yeah.
only her survived.
wow,
Everybody else was dead.
that's nice. Try to get away with that in Green Horde. I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not gonna win.
Well, half of the ones in there is like all survivors.
Yes.
Everybody was
Yeah,
survived.
this one was like, one of you has to get out. Well, it was hurt.
Well, that was my number 8.
Beginner's luck.
Hit Z Road. All right, a 12. I don't even know that I rolled. I just like get bounced straight up and down. 17. You're leading off again. All right, you're on the roll now.
All right. So this is gonna be, get used to it. It's going to be my number 7. It's gonna be my second role-playing game.
Okay.
And this one is born from my extreme love for Asian action cinema.
Oh wow.
It's called Feng Shui.
What?
And feng shui, you probably have it. Yeah, I knew you had it. I knew you had it.
Because he talks about this like every 3 months,
Yeah,
you know, right?
because, you know-
I mean, not all the time, but like, I remember you telling me about this when I worked at Walmart when we
Yeah,
first met, like
Absolutely.
20 years ago or
Yes.
something.
Well, I have the original edition of Feng Shui. Now I have the second one because Robin D. Law, who is a genius, because he also brought us The Librarian, the TV show. If you haven't watched it, please go. This is a great show. It's pretty hokey, but it's a great story. I love the theme. So Feng Shui is essentially a role-playing game set in an action-packed Hong Kong across several time period, because there are some there is some time travel involved, and basically there are factions that are vying for the control of feng shui sites. And if you have enough feng shui sites in a reality, you can change the reality to
Yeah,
your,
I remember you
your
describing
being.
that to me. That was good.
And you can find in the modern time, in the Boxer Rebellion, in ancient China, in the future post-apocalyptic desert, some bad things happen then. And also you can fight in the world between the timeline. And it is really
Well, the one thing that caught me when you kind of sold me on the idea of it, even though I've never played it, which we need to do that sometime as well, but when you told me there was like a feat or something where you can level up a person where they can actually
Yes.
run across the top of bullets being shot at
Yes,
you.
when people shoot at you, you can actually run and step on the bullets to get to them and stab them, which is, you know, as Hong Kong action cinema as you can. Yeah, this is a so yeah. Feng Shui is my number 7. Great game.
Number 7 is a game I don't know if you own, or you may get it in. I think you're gonna get it if not, or maybe I don't know. But anyway, but it moved up my list fast, and it's a new game. It's Western Legends.
It's in my Kickstarter for this year. Hopefully.
Yeah, it is
Please.
so good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'll be excited to play your edition because I don't have any of the perks because I didn't have the Kickstarter. So
Yeah.
and it's hard to find like the what do you call the expansions or whatever.
And people will just be crazy prices on eBay. You know, this is the way it works. This is why.
Let me tell you a little bit about Western Legends. Basically, they call it kind of a sandbox game, and you can the object is to get, of course, your victory points or whatever. But as the game plays, you can pan for gold or you know be a mine for gold. You can deliver cattle. You can do different things like. But if you can be a bad guy, you can rob a bank. You can rob other players. You can arrest bandits. You can if you're a good guy in the game, and that can change, by the way. You can be a good guy and then end up on the bad guy track, or a bad guy. If you finally get arrested, then you can choose to enter the good guy track. But the bad guy path, it's like the dark side. It's the points come faster and easier to you.
Yes.
But ultimately, you start getting in a bigger game because it plays up to 6 players, and people will start coming after you because they're like this. At the end of every round, you're getting the bonus points, whereas you have to make it to certain marks as a good guy to get. So I have never played the bad guy. Every time I played it, the martial track, and I've actually won twice. So I'm pretty, and I'm proud of it when I do win because it's not easy staying on that martial track and winning the game.
I like
But
to play
it's
the good guy.
beautiful
I agree
because you
with
can
Yes,
and you can make it and you can spend money. You can play poker in the game, so you can go there and if anybody's in the town with you, they all and you have cards in your hand that either has special abilities or you can use them for poker cards, and you also use them for combat. Yeah, it's brilliant. The game is
like a really
brilliant.
good game.
Sandboxing. My number 7, Western Legends. So I almost wore my cowboy hat because of that.
And I look forward to.
But I went with Boba Fett today. So.
I really look forward to playing that game. Like I said, I jumped in the add-on Kickstarter, so I got the original game.
Yeah.
And so I really look forward to it. I think
I look forward to you getting it into, so
awesome.
I can play all the new content.
We spent 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's right. You got to paint the minis. We'll play mine where we don't have to paint the minis.
All the minis. Always, no exception.
Okay, you're number 7?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you're number 7. Oh, we got to roll. We got to roll. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. I got a. Oh, you know what?
Wow, man.
This will be 3 losses. Okay. I start with 2 wins.
Do you want to borrow the dice tower?
No. I'm going to roll good again. You roll great. Okay. I'm going to keep track of victories here. You're up 3-2.
So number 6 for me is a war game. It's called Test of Honor.
Faulted.
You don't have it?
Test of Honor.
Oh man, he knows me well, dude.
Well, I'm surprised I got this. Man, I knew the Dungeons & Dragons for sure would be on there, and I thought Feng Shui would be on there. Only one I knew for sure, but it hasn't come up yet.
Test of Honor is also born from my love for Japanese samurai movies, from anywhere from the 7 Samurai to 13 Assassins. I love this genre, and I've never experienced a war game, or a skirmish game, to be honest, that captures his feel better than Test of Honor. By the way, the new edition is coming out in July. If you don't have the original game, please jump on it. Not only the rules are going to be even better, but the miniatures are awesome. So,
tell them a little bit about how the combat move. Yeah,
so,
you have like the groups. Yeah.
The Test of Honor, what I really like about it, that you
I like this game a lot too.
You have regular troops, but you have samurais or heroes or whatever they are. And you draw tokens from a blind bag.
That's my favorite part of the game, actually. I thought that was such a brilliant idea.
That actually decides what the order of action is going to be in the game. Knowing that your samurais have more actions than your regular troops. And also, if you play campaign games, you can gather some powers.
But it's possible you may not draw your samurai in that round.
That's
might, because if you draw the fate tokens or something,
if you draw enough fate,
then the round ends.
The round is over. So one person may not act.
Make decisions.
So you can have those scenes where the samurai is surrounded by 15 guys and kill all of them. Or you can have a scene where the guys come onto it and the samurais can act and get killed.
You can watch. We played this on your channel.
Yes, there is.
If you want to go back on his channel and watch it. And I basically was just kind of cocky. I just came out there, and honestly, I felt really I was doing good, but I could not finish you off. I actually went my samurai straight up against your samurai. I mean, we tried to take shots and stuff in the position, but I said, you know what? I'm going to see what you're made of, and he survived. He basically on the second attack versus me, I think he decapitated me or something. It was pretty quick.
That is a fun game. That is
that
is a really fun game. I look forward to the second edition. I am building a bunch of terrain. And it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. So that was my number 6, Test of Honor.
Approve. World number 6. Okay, this is a game I know you haven't played, but it's one of my favorite group games when I get a bunch of people and they can play 2 to 6 players, and it scales pretty well. It's called Ethnos or Ethnos. It depends on how you want to pronounce it. Okay, so the game is really interesting. Now, you could actually probably make miniatures come in, but they would just stand in to be in an area that look at certain things. Yeah. So it has the ugliest board in creation. So you probably want to homemade your own board if you like good looking stuff. But basically there's just 6 areas, like countries that you're trying to, or territories that you're vying for. But there's a bunch of cards, and on your turn, this is what makes the game good. Learning the game and becoming better at it is different than just learning how to play, because on your turn you have one of 2 things. You either draw a card or you play cards. Okay, and this is what happens. So if you draw a card, you can draw one blind from the top of the deck, or you can draw one of the cards in front of you. And there's a bunch of different races, and every time you only play with so many races, so the games always change up a little bit. So like, for instance, you have to choose, so like you have colors, which also match the countries, okay? So the territories. So if you lay a spread of like 3 people out, and you have to choose one to be your leader. So like if I played all 3 blue, then I'm going to be placing the token in the blue area. But I have to make sure that if I had already 3 blue tokens there, I would need at least 4.
Okay.
And so that's how you determine how much control. So like you can just throw 1 just to get 1 into an area, and each one of these are randomized each game depending on like how many points it's worth during all 3 during the first stage this is worth, whoever's in first place gets this many points and that many points, and there's rules how you split it up. But depending if you play the other way you can play it is if you don't lay them in colors, but you play them all in the same tribe. So that means they're all different colors. So like let's say I play all whatever the merfolk is in it. Like I play a list of merfolk. I can choose what color it is so the token can go in that area if it qualifies. But the merfolk will have a special ability. On theirs they have a board. And on the board, it lets you move certain areas, and it scores some bonus points at the end of each age. And if you hit certain highlights, you can just take a token and put it into a territory.
You know, that reminds me of Small World.
Yeah, but that whole board, you may never even play with that if it doesn't randomly come up. I mean, you could choose, but like if you choose the hill giants or the giants, then you get these tokens. Like you may immediately get it, but it's made to take tiebreakers. So if I have like 3 points in giant tokens, and you have 2, and we have the tie in the same area, I actually control that area, so I'll get the points at the end of the age for it. So, and they all have different abilities. If you play a wizard out, the wizard says, it's like, oh, after you play your cards, you have to draw, because basically once you make a play, you have to actually discard the rest of your hand into an up. So then it gets picked apart. So then you have to start over. So you have to be very careful, but you can only hold 10 cards in your hand. I know that's kind of a hodgepodge, but it's brilliant because it's called Ethnos. Yeah, Ethnos. It's so easy to teach, and it plays, if you want to test yourself, it plays so good at different ones, but it plays differently. So like, I might be really good at playing, 3 to 4 players, but like the game changes dramatically. I mean, the game still plays the same,
Yeah.
but you have less rounds to play, because basically what happens is there's 3 dragons in the lower half of the deck, and once you hit the 3rd dragon, the age ends. So you got to try to decide whether you want to take one more chance to try to get the cards you need to do something, or will it make it all the way around? So the more players are in the game, it's more of a risk you take after the dragon.
So there is this push your luck element.
There's definitely a push to look at,
very cool,
but you
very
can
cool.
mitigate that by
sounds
being
fun.
but you can go, you start looking around, you're like, oh, what has he got over there? And like, I think I really need to try to get one more elf or something, because the elves have cool, I mean, they all have special abilities.
Yes.
Even skeletons, they count as like wild cards, but they don't count for bonus cards at the end. So
that's all. I will definitely take a look at it.
Easy to teach. Yeah, maybe I'd like to get maybe me, you, and Morgan. I'll just show you how to play it one time.
Yes,
it's so easy. Yeah,
definitely.
Sorry, I talked a little too long.
No, that'd be great, man. That's new games, man. New games. Cool. So that was your number 6.
Yeah. Works
Okay,
good.
let's roll for number 5.
Oh, okay.
Number 5.
Okay, am I breaking it? 19.
Wow, man. Wow,
All right. Can the critical beat me?
I can't top that.
15.
No,
Good roll. But that ties us at 3 apiece. So what are we on, number 5?
Number 5.
Okay, number 5 is a brand new game by one of my favorite designers of all time, which is Richard Garfield, who also designed Bunny Kingdom and Magic the Gathering. And people are like, Bunny Kingdom? Well, if you've been watching on my channel, it was on my list earlier, on my top 50. But it's Keyforge. And the thing about this that makes it different from Magic is that it's not like all about combat. You can do combat to mitigate the field, but when you play a character out there, then you have a choice. You can either fight with it against someone else's, or you can reap, and reap will get you these amber shards. And when you get 6 amber shards at the top of your turn, then you can cash it in and you forge a key. So key forge, right? And the first person to forge 3 keys wins the game. And all these things have abilities. The thing that makes it neat is it uses that algorithm that makes it a unique system. So you buy preset decks. There's 33 cards divided into 3 houses, which there's like 8 or 9 houses. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. But anyway, out of those houses that, they have different synergies. But you don't change, you don't build it. You play your deck versus the other person's deck, and no 2 decks will ever be the same, even if it was just 1 card difference. But still, just having one really close to your deck to meet somebody that has that is a thing. And most people that have complaints versus, they're like, well, what if Pierre's deck is more powerful than yours? Well, they have a rule in there. It's called chaining, and they'll actually use it in tournaments. The more you win, either because you're a better player or a good deck or both, then you will start gaining chains, which handicaps your hand size for a little while at the start of games. So that way the other player's deck would bring you more on even ground. So
I like the fact that you don't have to buy cards constantly.
You can buy one pack, and you can be done.
Yes.
And you could play anytime somebody goes, I want to play Keyforge, you're like, oh, I got a deck. You don't have to worry about it, and it will be competitive. Yes. It will be competitive,
And that's what kept me from playing Magic after about 2 months of it, because I didn't want to buy cards. This is awesome because
this is new and it's hot, but I will end up this will end up sliding down through time, because sad to say, if you've watched my previous list in the past, Dice Masters was in my top 10, but it has slidden down quite a bit through time because it has what I call, going down the money hole, or the magic hole, as I call it now. I love Dice Masters because it gives me the best of both worlds. But anyway, Keyforge, my number 5.
All right. So number 5 is a game that I have probably every version ever published of, because I absolutely love
crap!
this game.
I forgot to put that on my list. I know which one it is.
Which one is it?
Zombicide?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I
was gonna do.
I thought you were gonna put Zombicide right there.
I was gonna do Zombicide.
I was like, I should have put it in there.
But it didn't. It's too recent for defining who I am as a gamer.
Okay.
So no, Space Hulk.
Oh, really?
Space Hulk from Games Workshop.
I've seen it played, but I've never played it.
Oh, we have to play this.
I've seen it played.
I love this game. It's everything about this game I love, from the card stock to the miniature to the rule to the Overwatch and Skull King Gene Stealers. This is like Alien, on steroid. And please, Games Workshop, if you are watching this, which you probably won't because you have better stuff to do,
but you better watch it. They're probably watching.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
Yeah, send some demo material to the Gaming Dude.
Dice Matrix, and you should watch the Gaming Dude. Every day, okay?
Every day.
Every time we push. But if you are watching this, please publish Deathwing. I need Deathwing. I just, why aren't you doing this? You published a game, it was beautiful, new miniatures, and that's it? I mean, come on, man, come on. No, I have the old Deathwing, I have the old miniatures.
When I edit my video, I'm gonna put like insert rant here or something.
Yes. Just please. So yeah, Space Hulk is an awesome game. It plays quickly.
That's good.
Lots of scenarios, beautiful minis.
And you better do it. We're serious.
Yeah,
we ain't playing around.
You know,
because if you don't, your empire's going to crumble. And,
yes, that's it.
You won't be able to sell any games.
This game will bring you down. Everything you do comes to nothing if you don't publish Space Wings. Please come on. I mean, Deathwings. Okay. All right. So that was my number 5.
Awesome. Okay, we both did number 5, so we're rolling again. Uh-oh, 8. That's beatable. That's beatable. It is.
12. Woo!
Somebody took the lead. 4-3. Okay.
So my number 4 is a pretty new game. Well, new-ish, about 2 years old. Is Conan the board game.
Oh, I should have known.
Because
now I'm thinking.
Because this game,
I should have put that on there for you.
Probably one of the first few Kickstarters I actually jumped in a long time ago. Now I'm a Kickstarter addict because of that. But Conan, and I'm not done painting all the supplements and stuff, is an awesome game. I think that the concept of having
the river system.
The river system with the Overlord, which, by the way, I look forward to having the refined version of in Batman, is a phenomenal concept. I love the multiple scenarios. There are so many published online now and on the Overlord magazines. You can play this game forever.
Tell them real quick about the river system.
Exactly.
So they
river
know
system in Conan, which I really, really like. The Overlord is basically the bad guy. You play all the bad guys, and every other player play one hero. Okay, and so the Overlord has a set of tiles that are lined in front of him or her. All right, and when you activate a tile, the closer it is to one side, the less gemmed, which is your unit of energy, your unit of action, it costs you. But once a tile is activated, which corresponds to a group of baddies or to a monster or whatever it is, you have to put it on the other side of the river, when then it becomes extremely pricey to activate in terms of gems. In that you can't keep using the same unit. You have to plan ahead of time what you are going to use in what order, knowing that once you activate them, you won't be able to go back to it very soon. And that is just a phenomenal concept.
Good system. Good concept.
And everything is beautiful. The maps are gorgeous. The minis are gorgeous, especially if you paint them, which, by the way, you should.
If you can paint.
So everybody can paint,
Not well.
All right. So
sound like we need to check your battery. So
check the battery
because I'm doing fine, but I heard a beep on yours just now, and we just finished up. So as long as so go check yours real quick.
All right.
We're back, and
we're back.
Got a chip in your thing, so we're good for that.
Yes.
So you had just said your number 4.
Number 4, yes.
And my number 4 is a game that I know that you also enjoy. I've actually, one of the few games on my list that I've actually got to play with you. It's Shadows of Brimstone.
Oh,
I love this game, and it continually moves up my list.
Shadow of I mean, I have an absolute love for this game. I have also a closet full of stuff I still have to paint for it.
Well, and you have everything. Like when you say everything, you have about everything for that, don't you? Just about everything.
I may very well have everything. I don't have the new Kickstarter, so by the way, Flying Frogs, if you're listening. I already bought it, so you can send it to me right now. It'll be fine.
So Shadows of Brimstone, basically, it's a dungeon crawler. I like to call them dungeon stomps, but you're playing like mainly characters from the Old West. I mean, the new Kickstarter has you playing Oriental characters in that medieval Japan, feudal Japan.
And soon,
but you can mix and match the characters. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but soon also somewhere else.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have the Viking one pretty soon. It looks pretty good. But I'm a huge fan of like West. Movies, games, and stuff. Anyway, and I love dungeon crawling. And if you just like to chuck dice, try to fight things, and it's basically the Old West meets unspeakable horror. Is how they describe it.
That's it.
So it's not Cthulhu, but it feels Cthulhu-ish very much with portals.
Spaghetti Western means Lovecraft.
I got solo plays on my channel, and just because I get bored, but I love just to play. I'll break it out and just set up a solo adventure, and the game can be pretty brutal. You don't die. You get knocked out often. But the best part of the game is not just the theme or the dungeon stop or the challenges or whatever, but you can play it like a mini role-playing game. I mean, you're not actually like going to all these, but you do get to, in between things, you can go to a town. You're like, well, wait a second. Why would you go to a town? It's like because it's set up to you level your character up. You gain experience when you kill creatures. When you have and you have skill trees that you turn to like, oh, I'm playing the marshal, and you're like, oh, I want this one, and then you get items like you find things and you use them, so you can carry your character all the way to 8th level. Online, you can go farther than that because people have set up scenarios and ideas.
And there is somebody,
brilliant,
and I forgot his name. And I apologize because this person is a saint to Shadow Brimstone players. He invented the Hexcrawl map.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And that makes it a full-on role-playing game. Period. You can.
So after you finish your whatever scenario adventure in the mine, if you're successful or not, you will go back to usually like a western town or a village or something, and you can do some stuff. But if you fell, some buildings may be destroyed. Like, well, I really like to heal this collarbone, but the doc's office is smashed up. No luck. Yeah. You're taking a risk anyway. If you go see the doc, there's about 50-50 chance you may die. But no characters.
Yeah,
like permadeath is pretty hard actually in the game because as long as something really bad doesn't happen to you, your character dies, you can always get a resurrection eventually. You can go, hey, you remember that one time, that one character? Let's bring that character back because I have enough whatever, and we rolled that they're doing resurrections today.
Yes.
So you can actually hope for your characters. It's just so fun.
No, it is I agree. This is an absolutely phenomenal game. Thank you, Flying Frogs.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for mentioning it early on, so I kind of knew about it. So.
And by the way, my very first stop when I go to Gen Con is always the Flying Frog booth, and then I wait for a half hour because there was a line all around it. But worth it.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going for number 3s. All right, let's see what we can do here. I got
18.
I'm getting back, baby. That's right.
All right.
That ties us at 4 apiece. Okay, so I'll be leading off. So my number 3 game is a game that you've never played. I don't know if you've played the older version, but you're not a big card game fan.
No, I don't like card games.
But this isn't a card game that you play from your hand. This is drafting because my 2 favorite mechanics in games are area control and card drafting, and to do things like in Terraforming Mars and many of these games, but. In this, it's Seven Wonders Duel. I guess I should have, and I got the.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So a beautiful game by Bruno Cathala and Antonio. I don't say it's his name, Bauza, but anyway, brilliant designers, and you set up like and play 3 ages. And basically, you're just taking cards. You have some money, and you're like, 3 ways to win. Like the one of 3 types of cards. It'll either be a card that it's a military conflict, or it's a card that will be a civilization, like a civilian building, which gives straight up just points, or you'll have these merchant ones that are gold that give you different abilities and powers. So if you grab the brown the brown ones too were the main ones. But anyway, they give you supplies, and if you don't have the resources to build something, then you have to pay money for the resources that you're missing. And if you happen to have it, then I have to pay more because you're putting the string on the bank he's got. But it plays so well because you're just picking cards, and it makes a big deal. Half the cards aren't there, and you can't grab cards until you grab the lower ones, and then they may not even be revealed. So there's a lot of strategy in this little tiny game that plays very fast.
I've heard good things about it.
It plays so beautifully. If you're looking for doesn't eat up hardly any table. The thing is, you probably want to be on the same side as someone. Like if me and Pierre played right now, it'd be best to do it right here so they can see everything going on. The cards are small, but it's a brilliantly designed card drafting game done on a half information revealed each age. And I love it because the military, if I grab in the first age, I grab one that has a shield, on it. That means I move towards your city. There's like this it's called the conflict pond, and I move it towards your city. And if I ever make it all the way to your city, or you make it all the way to my city, the game ends instantly.
Because you have to take it off.
Yeah, you don't play all 3 ages like you've won by military conquest.
Yes.
Or if you end up getting,
cool
I think, all 6 different types of sciences, if you get all those types of science, you automatically win the game through science technology.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's some depth to it.
Yeah. Oh, no. It really is. You can play this game. It has a lot of replayability. So I played this a lot.
I never played it. I never was tempted by it. Of course, I say I don't like card games.
Yeah. This is not exactly like a card. Like that's why I say it's not what you think a card game. Like Ethnos, it has cards in it, but it's really an area control game.
Yeah, it's an area control.
You hold cards, but it's not the same thing.
Now, thanks to you, I love Magipur.
Oh yeah.
And I also love Machikoro. I know it's hokey, but I really love Machikoro.
Machikoro is a fun game. It's very simple.
Yes.
Great gateway games to get people in.
It is. So but usually I don't like card games, so that's it. I'm gonna make a blanket.
If I bring a card game over, it better be good because Pierre.
I mean,
And if you don't like it, that's fine because we always have things that I like or you like. And
I'll
maybe
try it.
that's
Man,
what
you
makes the world
introduced me
fun.
to Magipur. I bought the app, I bought the game, I love the stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, I play the app all the time. Yeah.
So number 3, right?
Number 3, yes.
Number three is a kind of a new game, about a year old. But I've completely fell in love with it. You should see I have a pile of stuff for it in the corner. It's Kill Team from Games
Oh,
Workshop.
I should have known that.
Kill Team is
I put the wrong
everything
one.
I wanted for a 40k. Why? Because I don't have time, money, or patience to paint huge armies.
I put 40K as
And,
that
well,
was
close enough. I mean,
yeah,
close enough.
I don't know
Because Space Hulk is also a 40k.
Yeah, but still,
Kill
I figured,
Team allows me to paint, a maximum a dozen minis,
yeah.
And just go to war against somebody else. And it's a small map because as you see, this room is called the Narrows. You can tell by the fact that
There's
we are
not
trying
much
to
room.
hold our breath, not to be compressed by the actual table. I don't have a lot of room, and this is perfect. This is a perfect sci-fi combat. So much diversity, especially now. And I have those stuff, but I haven't played with them yet. With the commanders, with the elites, that is an brilliant game. So Kill Team, my number 3. If you haven't tried it, and if you are tempted by your 40k but don't want to pay 600 minis, that is a good one for you to
There's
try.
just so many different things in the 40, Warhammer r/40k universe
you
that's
can spend your
going.
lives there.
Yeah, like what's the Age of Sigmar and that sort of thing. Is that
I-
the 40k too,
yeah,
right?
I
Yeah,
don't
okay.
like Age
You
of
don't like Age of Sigmar.
I
but-
am more of a Games Workshop, old world fantasy type of
Gotcha.
guy.
Okay. Gotcha.
I like my goblins to be goblins and my elves to be
Okay.
elves, not high elves or whatever.
Whatever they decide to rename them to.
Just goblins, dwarves, elves, simple stuff.
Right.
So
Okay.
that was my number 3.
So we've successfully done number 3, and we're rolling in. I'll let you have first roll this time.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that'll.
1. Whoa!
Oh, fumble. Hopefully, I won't double that. 12. All right.
There you go.
I'm in the lead. You can only tie me from the last roll, or it'll be a clear-cut victory for rolling here. Okay. My number 2 game is also back-to-back Bruno Cathala design games, and I think it might be the same co-designer. I have to look it up. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on it. But it's 5 Tribes. I think it came out in around 2015. Now, this game is just one of those pretty games like Yamatai or whatever. It's put out by Days of Wonder. Very colorful, very beautiful-looking board. Will Wheaton has an old play of it that got me hooked
that's
into
correct.
it.
Yeah, that's
And
what I heard about it.
it is really neat because it uses the Mikhail effect. You have the 5 different colors, and you basically pick up you pick a square, and that gets randomizes each time, and you start dropping the tribes in a orthogonal or cardinal directional. You can't go diagonal, and wherever you drop your last one, the color, you pick up all the colors of that, and then you do one of the actions. You do a tribe action. So like, let's say I picked up all blues, like 3 blues out of that one, and then I would take their, which is the merchant one, so I'd get money based upon the blue tiles surrounding that.
Okay.
And then you would take whatever that tile action is if you want to, which might be buying a good for like a set collection over here, or it might be buying a Djinn, which is cool because Djinns have powers and they're worth points. Or, there's like quite a few things you can do in the game. Or you might just be able to put a palace on it, but if you're the one that clears that tile off on your final one, like you end up, there's only blue left, then you get to put one of your camels there, which shows that you control that. Nothing takes it away from you. And the tiles are worth points too. So it's a very kind of what they call like point smorgasbord sort of thing going on. But it's very thinky. You'll sit there and you look, and I love it. I play this probably with my buddy Pat. You've never met, but he is a real interesting. But he loves these games like this. Me and him play this and Yamatai a lot, which Yamatai didn't make my top 10, but because this is just so much, in my opinion, a superior game. But although they're both really good, but 5 Tribes, my number 2. Best game in the world of all time.
Oh wow!
Okay, no,
no, I have to actually try it.
Okay, yeah, I really,
try it, man.
It's Euro-y, so I don't know if you like, that, but.
Oh, I like games like this. I mean, it just it never crossed my.
If you want to use your noggin, it's
radar. Yes,
it's.
I try not to do that too often. But yeah, in that case, I might make an exception. All right, so my number two is the third role-playing game of my list.
Oh, okay, that's great. No,
it is it's something I've played for.
Let's see if I have a shot here.
Many years.
Can I make a pre-guess?
As a game master,
I'm gonna make a pre-guess.
Sometime as a player.
I'm probably wrong.
It's Call of Cthulhu.
Oh no! What? What? Call of Cthulhu,
There you
right?
go, man. So, Call of Cthulhu is one of my favorite games in the world. Of course, I was gonna mention RuneQuest too, because especially now there is a second edition that is magnificent. But Call of Cthulhu is really hit a chord with me when it came out. I have the original box. I have all the editions since. The newest one is fantastic. I absolutely love also the Pulp Cthulhu. I love the Achtung Cthulhu by Modifius. This whole set of rules is phenomenal because it allows you to play horror, pulp, and adventure in the same set of rules.
Great.
And you can have some scenarios that are really scary, some of them that are really Indiana Jones like. And I absolutely love this game. I have mastered it for so many years, and it never ever gets old. And even playing the same scenario with
Still waiting for my invite.
You are. It's coming.
And probably I'm always busy or something when you.
No, I mean, and the fact is that
I've really wanted to play this game for a long time. My buddy Michael Root that I worked with told me about this a long time ago, and I'm like, oh man, this sounds. I love role playing. You can tell me basically any role play. That's why I didn't put like D&D on my list, because everything would probably be a role playing game on my list, because that's my favorite experience usually at a table is sitting around with other people and just the free form, doing what you want. I mean, obviously you have rules and dice and
convivial,
but I love the interaction. It's just
there are role playing games that I don't quote because they don't make me feel good. If it makes any sense to you, like I used to be a fan of World of Darkness, and way back when it took a left turn, and that was way too dark for me. See, I have to feel like usually I like to play the hero.
The 90s World of Darkness? Or are you talking about like
the 90s?
The white, not the White Wolf vampire one? Are you talking about?
The White Wolf.
Because Werewolf would actually make my list. I played that with a group many times. I love Werewolf, but it is pretty dark.
It is dark. I like to be the good guy in some way, shape, or form. Okay,
the werewolves are the good guys. That's how we played it.
Well, they are, but it's
that's how we played it.
It's kind of dark and desperate.
Yeah.
Call of Cthulhu, of course, he's dark and desperate. You have no, I mean, your character will never make it to a super high level. First of all, there is no level in it.
Yeah.
But also because they are destined to go mad or to die eventually.
Yeah.
Except if you play Pulp Cthulhu, in which case they can't survive. But the whole
you can try to hold off the great one, the old one, from coming
as
and killing
much as you can. So that Call of Cthulhu, my number 2.
Good pick.
Let's roll for one, man.
Okay, let's roll for one. You want to roll first or second?
You go.
All right, here we go. All right. 6. It's beatable. You can do a tie. Don't roll low. Oh, you tied me 5-5.
Yeah, but you know what? This one is gonna be quick.
Yeah, it'll be easy for me.
It's gonna be easy for me too.
Yeah.
Because you already quoted it.
Oh, what?
Yes. Shadow of Brimstone.
What? My last card.
Man, he's 5 on 5, man. This guy.
5 out of 10. That's pretty good. So.
Okay, so. Shadow of Brimstone for anything he said.
So good.
I love this game. It is a role-playing game in a box. It is a skirmish game in a box. It is an adventure game. I mean, it's everything. And soon we're gonna have Vikings and conquistadors. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
You choose adventures in the book, and you're like, or you can go online and grab stuff. I mean, every time you buy a module, it has 12 new adventures, and you can replay them again with different sets or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, and if you can play random, you just pick a world and you open portals and you can.
Just to give an example, one of the first ones in the very first sets is called A Few Brimstone More, right?
Yes.
The first, like, I don't know, it might be a basic or a regular adventure, but anyway, A Few Brimstone More lets you go try to just get some Darkstone, which Darkstone is like these items in the game that help power your stuff. Well, my buddy Pat, and it's like, we've done it before where we're playing, and it's just like, man, I just need some Darkstone, and it's like, well, let's just replay that one adventure.
Yeah,
we're as long as we win, we're guaranteed some Darkstone. So we go back and try to play it.
No, I love this game. You can get stuck in this game and play only that for years, because I mean there are so many minis. Like I said, I have a cupboard worth of stuff to paint, supplements, and it's gonna keep coming because there is the upcoming Shadow of Brimstone Adventures, and they're probably gonna cook up something after that. So it's awesome. All right, so that was my number one.
Number one. And my number one, and Pierre knows me pretty well, I believe
Yeah,
2 or 3
I know
years
which
ago.
one it
Yeah, about 2 or 3 years ago, this was probably number 2 on my list, but it was so close with Five Tribes. And they're two totally different games, but it's by CMON or Come On or whatever they're calling themselves
CMON,
now.
yeah, CMON.
Yeah, Blood Rage.
Yeah, I knew
Designed
that.
by Eric Lang, great designer of the artwork, Adrian Smith, who does, a lot of fantastic art, which I love. Beautiful miniatures in it. I mean, it's not quite Warcraft or whatever, Warhammer level, but for a board game,
Yeah, it's a board game. I mean,
it's
not-
good.
yeah,
But it's area control, and the game is mitigated through drafting. At all 3
Yes.
ages, you draft and you pass, you draft, and they either give you quests that you can move up your characteristics of your clan, or you get combat cards. So when you combat, you reveal cards, or
Yes.
you grab upgrades on your board to upgrade your Vikings or monster. You add sea monster to your game or something. I mean, it is a game that I played over and over and over, and I've just loved each time, because you never know someone, it's hard when you see someone going for a Loki strategy. You're like, oh, we got to keep our eye on that guy. Or this guy has been drafting all combat cards, so he's just trying to control Idrisil in the middle. I mean, there's a lot of things to take in consideration.
Yes.
And all the different players you have around you make the difference on how the game's played. So, but I just love Blood Rage.
And yes, and I look forward to playing it with you. Now I have a reason to paint it. Well, I had a reason to paint it before.
You
but
may
the
not
thing
like
is-
it at all, but I love it.
I'm sure, because I have read the rules, I've seen it played.
Yeah.
I just have to paint it because
Yeah.
this is what I do. But the thing is, here is a reason to paint the game now. Besides playing this game that you love, it's just your number one game. A game came out from Osprey called come on, help me there. The
I'm
end
trying
of
to remember.
time.
You told me once, and I couldn't remember. Yeah.
The end of time. The end of time, Viking style. Come on.
Oh, Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Sorry. Yeah.
Ragnarok, and the subtitle is Heavy Metal Combat in the Age of Vikings.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
come on. So this game uses miniatures for Vikings. And it's like they say, it's heavy metal combat. Heavy metal, like you play heavy metal in the background because it feels like it. Well, you can paint the miniatures for Blood Rage and have an excellent game to play whenever you want to, and take them out and play this game too.
Now you have a dual purpose.
Dual purpose.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to go for, because I have little time to paint minis. When I paint minis, I want a dual purpose. Well, I have it right there. Now so I'm gonna take my box out. I have everything nicely put, and I'm gonna paint it. And I'm gonna play this game.
And when me and Pierre do our holiday edition of the top 10 list,
Yes.
and we'll see if that's came in, and if he's had a chance to play it, if it makes his top 10.
Yes, because so are there some games that you think are gonna make it to your top 10 too?
I have a lot. Well, see, I know that Keyforge is eventually going to shuffle down because of the newness to it. Twilight Struggle is pretty strong. It's where it's at. I mean, it's hard, but I have some games that are below this that I feel like that could easily go up into the top 10 because there's some flux. But a lot of these, I'd say probably at least 4 or 5 of these from like a year and a half or 2 years ago are still on the same list. And I haven't really made. I've updated my list all the time, but I haven't made a video with the list until now. Again, it's been a while, so
this is the first time I actually make a top 10 list. Why? Because I am lazy, and also because it's hard. It is very hard. I mean, if you play for as long as I've played,
but he did it because he's my friend.
That's it.
And I wanted to do a video.
He
with
called me
somebody.
and said, "You want to make a top 10 list?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll do it." I'm like, "Oh crap! How do I do that?"
And choosing sometimes,
Yes, yeah. But so games that are actually coming up for me, because I've read the rules, I don't have the games yet because they haven't actually shipped it to me. Might take the place of some of the games here, and I'm thinking of Joan of Arc, Time of Legend, Joan of Arc. This game looks absolutely phenomenal, and so I've read the rules. The rules are great. That might actually take a spot here. I'm pretty sure it would. Batman. I have Batman. I haven't painted it.
I know. Because Batman will probably make your list next time.
There are 300 miniatures in it, and you know what? That's a lot. Another game that I'm painting right now, Hellboy. Now, I've read the rules. It looks absolutely awesome. The miniatures are beautiful, and I can dual purpose them for playing like, a fistful of Kung Fu from Osprey, for example, stuff like this. So there are games coming up that I really think that are gonna take up. Another game that I haven't looked at yet, but I'm fascinated by.
This is Pierre's top 10 anticipation list
anticipation. No, U-Boat.
Bonus material.
U-Boat, the game of German submarine simulation.
So many of them.
That looks
really
so good. I have it in the box. I haven't even opened the box. Because you know what? I don't have time. So yeah, stuff is gonna come up and might take the place of those oldies but goodies. But you know, it's gonna be tough because those are really, really, really good in my heart.
All right, well that's cool. I think something coming out. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but I'm in anticipation of Sorcerer coming out by White Wizard Games. It's a game where you have like area control. You use cards, but you take like you combine 3 decks together and say this is your bloodline, this is your house, this is your powers, and then you shuffle it all together and you play and you compete and you use 6-sided dice with your minions there to compete over. And I think that might have some some to it. And also another game. I don't know why I'm in this Sorcerer Vampire mood, but they actually, based upon the old White Wizard World Vampire, there's just a card drafting game that you use, and it's based upon the Vampire World, which I'm interested in seeing.
Well, there used to be one. There used to be a vampire card game. There used to be a werewolf card game.
Yeah, I've played both of those.
Yeah,
loved werewolf. Vampire was interesting, but it was long. It took a long time to play that game.
Yeah, and you know,
but werewolf was pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, but I like to be the
I could do a top 10 CCGs or TCGs, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I can't do that.
It's just, well, only because, you know, I've played so many through the years. You probably played enough. I'm not saying that you like them that much, but I'm saying, but if you kept the list only.
Oh, yeah, you would think about it, concentrate really hard, you know, but no, it's not that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. That's my top 10.
And that's my top 10. And so, thank you, my friend, for doing the list with me.
Thank you very much. That was fun.
You're watching on his channel, The Gaming Dude, on my channel, The Dice Matrix. I will link this to his. Hopefully, I'll be able to do the rest. If I don't, I may put this up before I even put my other top 40 up behind this. But I don't know. We'll see how it works.
Well, you want
to build up. I'll see what happens. It depends on how lazy I'm feeling, because I'm like, now I got to do 4 more videos before I put this up. We'll see. It'll either go up or it'll wait. So we'll see.
You will do final season of the Game of Thrones. You know, kill a few games at a time until you reach, you know, who is left. Yeah, full of people.
Well, until next time, keep the dice rolling.
Yep, this is The Gaming Dude. Stay shiny.
All right.